It's time to make friends with your brain. I'm Laura Rhodes-Levin, licensed therapist and founder of the Missing Piece Center for Anxiety. It's true I'm a therapist, but more importantly, I struggled my whole life with terrifying anxiety. If anxiety is taking over your world, you're in the right place. Let's make friends with your brain. You deserve it. Welcome back to episode number 5 of Missing Piece for Anxiety, the podcast that is meant to be the anxiety user manual. You are here because you want tools to manage your anxiety. So let's do a little recap as usual on the last several episodes. What we're learning about is how your anxiety speaks to you. So we know, 1, your anxiety is a liar that predicts doom, and it is going to tell you if someone's late that they're dead in a ditch, not that they stopped to buy you flowers or that they're just running late. It is going to go to the worst case scenario. The other part of anxiety is negative self-talk. And that's the voice that is so mean to you, that tells you you're stupid, you're fat, tells you things that if you heard someone say, you'd be highly offended. And yet we say them to ourselves all the time. And that's because our anxiety voice wants to screen all the possible dangers. And that's the lens that it is going to look through. Another voice that anxiety uses that we talked about is wounded child. And that's the part of you that has been shamed or traumatized at some time in your life, not necessarily as a child. So the example I gave last week was if you were shamed when you read aloud as a kid or later on in life, shamed for something you said, when it comes time to speak up in a staff meeting, you're not going to say anything because your wounded child is telling you they're going to reject you. They're not going to like you. They're going to shame you. So how do we manage all these voices? How do we find a voice that brings us to the other side? And that voice is called capable adult self. And that is the voice that we're going to be talking about during this episode. So let's learn about capable adult self. I believe that capable adult self is rooted in the parent that you always wanted to have. And this is no offense to any of your parents who may have done a lot of great things, but perhaps didn't give the best parenting messages all the time. So an example of this is sometimes parents will motivate us with fear or with shaming. So I want you to imagine yourself a little kid and you're trying to do a math problem. And someone says to you, nope, wrong. You're terrible at math. Math is not going to be your vocation. Just quit now and just prepare to fail this test. This kid would not do well on the math test. This kid needs to hear from a parent who's going to say, good job. You are so close. You're really getting it. It's going to take some practice. I know this is not as easy for you as such and such, but we're going to do this together. And they help them through it. So it's really important to become that capable adult for yourself. How do we develop that voice? This voice takes practice. I want you to notice the capable adult self that you've brought to friends. So if your friends came to you and said, I'm probably going to fail this job interview. I'm not even qualified. I'm never going to get this. This guy or girl or person is going to hate me on this date. I am a terrible picker. You're going to hopefully say to that friend, you're not a terrible picker. You're a good picker. You are just learning more and more about yourself. You can get this job. You are qualified. It is your cheerleader. It is your positive coach. That's what capable adult is going to say. If you were a babysitter and you're babysitting a little kid whose parents are late and they think, oh my God, mommy or daddy they crashed in a terrible fiery car crash and they're never coming home. You would not say to that kid, yeah, could be, I guess we'll wait and see if they show up. You would say, no, mom and dad are fine. They're just running a little late. And that's your capable adult self. You have used this voice many times in your life for many others. But if you struggle with deep anxiety, you don't often think to use it on yourself. It's time to start practicing capable adult self. Now, what happens is your fearful voice, your wounded child, your negative self-talk is your louder voice right now. And capable adult self is probably in here in the background someplace. You can hear it saying, no, they're probably, well, what if they're not? So you have to practice using capable adult self. And the more and more you practice, what starts happening is capable adult self becomes your dominant voice. Now, I'm not going to lie. In my experience, wounded child, negative self-talk, anxiety predicting doom, it is always back there for me. So if I am going to meet with a client for the first time, there is a little voice that says, oh God, what if you're not in the right place and you don't say the right things and you don't get to help this person? It's so quiet though. That capable adult self walks in and tells that client, how can I help? What can I do for you? And is able to give an honest assessment of what is possible. So even though that voice is back there, it's not in control. Just like right now, you may feel like that anxiety voice is so loud and so booming that you can barely hear capable adult self. And everything takes practice, right? Your brain is more easily programmed than you think it is. And I may have given this example already in a previous podcast, but if you have to wake up at 6 a.m. for work, Monday through Friday, for the first several weeks, it's brutal. But eventually, your brain knows 6 a.m., time to wake up. And on Saturday, 6 a.m., time to wake up, even though you don't have to wake up on Saturday or Sunday at 6 a.m. But you have programmed your brain in only a few weeks. That's what you're going to be doing with capable adult. You're going to be replacing those scary voices with capable adult on a regular basis, just practicing it over and over again. And eventually, capable adult self will be that emerging voice. And I want you to be patient with yourself in this process. That's one of the best ways to access capable adult is through patience. So as you're trying it and you're going, God, I didn't do capable adult self this time, bring in capable adult self and say, hey, you're trying, you're practicing, you're on the right track. And that's what I would love for you to do this week is practice your capable adult self to babysit and take care of all those terrified voices that are supposed to be there to protect you, but end up scaring you to death. So stop scaring yourself. Bring in that parent that you need next to you, that best friend who's there to support you, and enjoy your capable adult self week. We will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.